Minecraft is one of the cheapest major games out there. Just $30 will allow you to play forever. But there's one catch to that because it's actually a live service in the way the game is funded with its extra subscriptions like realms and the microtransactions in the marketplace. These microtransactions can really stack up, as they did in the case of this Reddit user that claims they spent over £1,000 on the Minecraft marketplace and they feel like they had been misled or taken advantage of by Microsoft. This is an insane amount of money to spend on microtransactions, and it raises a lot of questions, ones I want to ask and answer in today's video. But before we can do anything else, I think it's really essential I give you a disclosure. I do sell 2 add-ons on the Minecraft marketplace, Boss Blitz and Toycat's Toolkit, and I make a small commission when people buy either. Therefore, I have an interest in the marketplace, which means you should take any positive opinions I share with a grain of salt. I don't think it impacts my opinions, but the point of disclosure is it's not for me to decide, it's up to you. Anyway, this is a post that went pretty viral on the r/Minecraft subreddit, getting 3.4 thousand upvotes in just a couple of days because someone claimed they spent over £1,000 and they said they felt like they'd been misled or taken advantage of by Microsoft. This is obviously something a lot of people flock to, but it does raise so many questions, but they do actually go very clearly in why they think they've been taken advantage of, and they say there are 2 reasons for their dissatisfaction. The first one is big. It is that products are often broken. It is not uncommon to purchase Minecraft maps, texture packs, or add-ons from the marketplace that are just non-functional, which is a significant issue, especially for maps. They say some maps have a broken user interface, citing examples. They do the same, saying that maps are entirely unplayable in some cases, saying that the biggest examples are Restaurant Sim and Star Wars Path of the Jedi. Oh, I actually own that one. But this is entirely unacceptable to have bought things and then have a broken user interface or for the map to be unplayable. But they go further, saying some texture packs break when new content is added, mashup packs can also be broken, some add-ons have been reported broken by the community, and some maps are locked onto a specific version of Minecraft. Now, these are very specific criticisms, but sadly, you can't actually see them from the post itself because all they share is an image of them playing some weird map that involves mana. I genuinely don't recognize what this is, and so how are you meant to know that any of those are valid? Well, that's where I want to step in, and so let's download Star Wars Path of the Jedi again. Okay, it's 135 megabytes, and amazingly has 11,800 reviews, but the only real proof is going to be in the pudding. Here is me, but I am Star Wars. Oh, that's a start button. I'm sure I meant to hit that. Welcome to Spark Universe's Disney Lucasfilm from 2023, so it is 2 years old now. Path of the Jedi. This is unskippable, by the way, but I'll let you skip it. Oh. Okay, so I am playing on a controller right now, and it is letting me double jump. If I use my keyboard and mouse, it lets me do the same. So I have to imagine the double jump is specifically broken on the phone. You know what that means we've got to do? Star Wars. Okay, let's start. Spark Universe's Disney Lucasfilm Games 2023. Okay, I'm here now on the same device the person is using, and let's see if the double jump works. I can jump once, and you can see here I'm tapping it as many times as I can, but it just does not work. That is right, they have a mobile version, which is the majority of Minecraft Bedrock players, if I'm not mistaken. They have a version of the game that just does not work on mobile. If you can't double jump in a map that requires double jumping, then you can't enjoy that map. And that's a shame because this map costs over 1,000 mine coins, this many, and that's this many dollars that the person just had to give up on because they couldn't play the map. That really sucks in my opinion. And that's a very, very valid point, but it's not the only point they raise. Okay, I'm back on my PC now, where you can see double jump is working. I think what must have happened here, based on the fact that it's a mobile-only issue, is that Lucasfilm or Sparks Universe or the Minecraft Marketplace team, whoever was meant to be testing this, did do the testing on a PC or maybe even on a controller, and therefore they concluded, look, double jumping works, therefore the map is playable, but without testing on the mobile devices, where literally tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of customers are located, they managed to make a map which isn't playable for those people, which sucks because they would have spent the over 1,000 mine coins and not gotten either a refund or the map they actually like. It's interesting this isn't reflected in the reviews at all. I wonder how that can possibly be true, by the way, but it is very interesting that a lot of people are playing this map without a key piece of functionality, and therefore we will assume if this is correct, that all of the other critiques that this Reddit user makes are also based on their own real experiences, like this one. Just had to at least test one of them, right? We can't believe everything we see at face value. Okay, this first point is incredibly valid if you don't believe his examples and the one I just tested. There are lots of other examples of these that you can find on YouTube, and it is a shame that you can spend close to $10 on a piece of content and it not work. And I guess if you were spending £1,000, it makes sense that you came across that more often. So point one, very valid. You can buy a broken product and then you won't be able to get a refund. That is a big problem for Microsoft to solve. But also their second point is product descriptions often lack essential information, saying that there is a lack of information regarding the hardware specifications required to run content smoothly. For example, Modern City Map runs poorly on the Nintendo Switch, but lags noticeably on a Samsung Note 8, but also then he says he's bought maps on a tablet that are unavailable on a Nintendo Switch, such as, and then he names two examples. Then he says it's very easy to accidentally purchase a product on the marketplace if you have Minecoins on your account. There's no confirmation prompt. That is very true, by the way, as I'm sure anyone who's accidentally done that can attest to. Anyway, some products also lack trailers or gameplay previews. I often have to search on YouTube for related information, and sometimes it is impossible to find anything. The crucial information should be provided by the creators within the marketplace listing. So these are the criticisms that the user lays down, and I think they're very valid. You shouldn't be able to purchase broken things, and also there should be a confirmation before you buy, and also more information about what it is that you are buying. They seem like very simple requests, which is why it's weird that I've been referring to them as the user. The reason that is true is that they deleted their account shortly after posting this. This clearly went more viral than they were expecting, and so they deleted their post after seeing, I assume, comments like this one saying 1k for low effort mods. There really are people that will buy anything. You know, a little bit rude to the person you're responding to, but whatever. The second comment then says, oh my god, you could have spent £1,000 on a PC, bought the Java edition, and had all the rest for free. I think comments like these really miss the humanity of the situation. Someone spent over £1,000 on the Minecraft marketplace, which even me, that's $1,350 at current exchange rates. It's going pretty well for the UK pound right now, but like that means that someone spent a lot of money, and either they didn't have it, in which case this is brutally inhumane, I think, very rude, or they do have a bunch of spare money, they bought a bunch of tech it sounds like, and in which case you shouldn't criticize someone else's purchase decisions. Maybe they want to buy this instead of the Java edition, right? I think that's a crazy thing to say, and it's wild that these were the most upvoted posts, but at this point it's worth asking, well, okay, clearly they're treating it like it's rage bait. Is this post even real, or is it designed just to garner emotion? Is the store actually something that's good enough to justify being able to spend 4 digits? And should there be refunds at this level? That is to say, should Minecraft willingly be taking over $1,000 and then say, yeah, if you want to spend another 300, we'll take that too? Is that an okay thing? Well, let's go into this step by step. First of all, is this real? Well, I think it might be. I mean, they deleted their account, so it's hard to get any deeper research, but the fact that they do reference things that they've seen in YouTube videos, and even things they've seen in Echo Soldier's community posts, if you don't know, he covers a lot of Bedrock add-ons, the fact that they have these very specific references means that they probably have consumed a lot of content about it, but they do have ones that clearly aren't widely known about on the internet, like that Star Wars Path of the Jedi thing, which is, to my opinion, proof they've played a decent amount of content. Is it £1,000? Well, if they're saying it's £1,000, I believe that it's in that ballpark, which is absolutely wild. And so our second question, should you be able to spend that much? My visceral gut reaction is no! It's like learning someone spent hundreds of pounds on lottery tickets. How could anyone ever say the answer is yes? It's like a lot of mobile games have microtransactions that will just give you a dopamine boost, but it's worth mentioning that Minecraft is different because you're not just buying some colourful things on the screen, you're buying a piece of content that wasn't made by Microsoft. In fact, you're not really buying it from Microsoft. Sure, their name will be on your bank statement and they'll take whatever cut they deem to be proper, but also they're going to be giving some amount of that money to the creators. This means that creators can fund things like the Star Wars map, and that's pretty cool. I mean, I think personally, if they're making those maps with such high budgets, can they afford to make sure they work on mobile? Yes, but also there is a big question about, like, well, is this a microtransaction in mobile game, or is this more like funding art? I mean, if you think about it the second way, then leaving a comment saying like, oh, just buy the Java edition and then you can get free mods, is saying, how about instead of giving any of your money to Sparks Universe or the creators of add-ons and things you like, give none of your money to independent creators, just download their stuff for free, and then give all of your money to the corporations, Nvidia, Intel, and whoever else is selling your PC components. It just feels a little bit wrong, in my opinion, to pretend that that is a better outcome. Maybe it is for an individual consumer, but it's certainly not better overall. A lot of people buy art all of the time, and you should say, well, why'd you buy art when you could have bought McDonald's? I love McDonald's, but I also appreciate that many people want to buy art, which is why I would never tell someone, you're dumb for spending £1,000 on a table possible that I could just buy at IKEA because they're different purchases, right? So should you be able to spend this much on the marketplace? It feels like the answer is no, but if genuinely, I have to believe, I don't have any proof here, if you are playing every piece of content for hours a day, and this just happens to be how much you rack up over 5 or 6 years of spending, then is it the worst value in the world? That's a decision you get to make based on your own income levels. If you are at the point where, like watching a movie in 2 hours for, say, £10 is good value for you, then spending £5 on an add-on you play for an hour, or a map you play for an hour, is actually decent value as well, except that second one is more likely to support a smaller creator. I mean, whether you care about that or not is something that's up to you, but I don't actually hate the marketplace on principle, which is why you might say that I'm a shill. I have been saying this since the beginning. I don't like the marketplace because it is forced on us, and I don't like the marketplace because it is a bad place for the consumer, which is my actual point here that I want to bring into the last of this video, because should there be refunds at this level? Yes, yes, yes! Obviously, as someone who will make fewer sales if people refund my content on the marketplace, as someone who stands to lose money from this change, let me tell you, I think that this is something they absolutely should have done like every other major marketplace out there. It is something I will bang the drum for regularly, and I know I've got a chance of ruffling feathers or losing partnerships over this, but I think it's absolutely critical that Microsoft takes some accountability of the fact that there are going to be, I assume, millions of purchases made every day, and of these millions of purchases, not all will be on purpose. Some will be because someone hit buy and then went to go, oh no, no, no. Some will be that someone buys something because they think it will work and then it runs terribly. Some will be because someone misunderstands what something is. There are so many accidental purchases, and of those, I imagine very few get refunded because there is a long and lengthy process where you can ask nicely for a refund, but I don't think it should be that way. I think that, as with many digital goods, if you haven't used it for at least, let's make up a time span, if you haven't used it for at least 15 minutes, then I think that if you use it for 15 minutes or less, I think you should be entitled to a refund. Will that mean that some people will buy things deliberately knowing that they can play 10 minutes and then getting a refund? Yeah, but what does that matter? I think that anyone who is in the marketplace because they think that they can make good content is going to say, well, that's actually entirely fine. I don't mind if people play my stuff for 10 minutes for free because I'm actually making it for people. I think that there are thousands of people who will buy Boss Blitz and want it for longer than 10 minutes. I think that there are thousands of people who want the Toy Cat Let's Play World. I think that everything that I am willing to put a price tag on, I don't think people are, I don't want to have people's money by accident. I want to have it because they care about what they're buying, and maybe that makes me crazy, but I think that this is a post that I am, raising the profile of because I think Microsoft does need to take note that people do not, again, I think it really is upsetting when people learn that you can spend thousands on the marketplace, and the only way to make that better is to make sure that everything you buy is both helping the creator, which again, as far as I can tell publicly, people seem happy with that, that you should be able to buy things that are actually functional for you as a user, whether that means working on your Switch that you bought it on, whether that means anything like that. And third of all, I think that critically, more than anything else here, I think that there needs to be a cooling off period where if you bought something by entire accident, you shouldn't have to be like, well, I guess I'm out that money. Unless if I want my $3 back, I'd better send a really long, heartfelt email about how my kid accidentally touched the screen. I don't think that should be the process, and I don't think that anyone who's actually thinking about this rationally does. And so this is this user's experience spending £1,000 on the marketplace. If they are somehow watching this video, I want to say I'm sorry that people apparently bullied your Reddit account out of existence. I hope that people do understand that your purchasing decisions are your own, but also you should keep an eye on it. If this is nothing to you, then spending £1,000 on stuff, entirely fine, you're allowed to do what you want. But if £1,000 is a stress to you, or you spend that and then you think, oh, I really wish I could have spent that some other way, I really need to, there's some essential I've neglected in this, I would recommend, doing a good job at budgeting by only buying your mine coins outside the marketplace. So whatever you need to do, make sure that you actually budget for yourself correctly, even if that means that you buy fewer of my maps. I'd rather have sales from people who are happy with what they're getting. Maybe that makes me a bad business owner, but that's my personal take. What do you think? I want to hear down below. This was a fun little post that I hope you enjoyed me sharing today. If you want to see more fun things like this popping in the Minecraft community, consider subscribing to the channel, because I am excited for what might be coming on Tuesday, even though I'm likely not going to be around in this country to share it with you. But yeah, new beta and preview coming soon for the Copper update, as we're calling it. The Copper drop, I guess. Oh yeah, the Cop drop. That sounds great. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.